Batteries will last a lifetime. Batteries can last a really long time in terms of years and in the number of cycles. There's two parts to this, kind of like a car warranty where a battery is expected to last a certain number of years, but it also has a cycle count. That's part of the warranty. So you have two things. You have just a regular schedule or years of life in a battery, how long it will last. And then you also have what are called charge and discharge cycles that count against the warranty. And one example is that a battery will still be, so have 70% of its original stated value after 6 years or 6,000 cycles. So batteries do degrade slowly with each cycle, but even at the end of the warranty period, they're still good. They just don't have as much power as they do when they're originally made. Batteries will last a lifetime if you treat them correctly. Temperatures, cycles, and years, it all matters. I'm Joel Robinson. I'm a founder, builder, pilot, and entrepreneur in Montana. And I'm giving people, businesses, and anybody who will listen information on renewable energy systems so that you can save money, or you can just do something really cool, like live off grid, or maybe run your whole house on solar. My customers always ask me, how long will batteries last, Joel? Well, there's really two parts to that question. They're asking both how long, how many years will this battery last? How long will this battery be good for? But the second part is, during an outage, how long will this battery last? And those are two different questions, and I always have to clarify when customers ask me. But I'll talk about both of them. So the first one, we're talking about a warranty. How long will a battery last? And honestly, these batteries will last almost an entire lifetime. They can last a really long time because energy storage batteries, the ones that we install in someone's garage or in their house, they usually don't get cycled that much. They tend to sit at a certain state of charge or near full state of charge, and they don't get used very often unless you have a lot of power outages. So that battery will last a really long time because it's not cycling. Now they do degrade slowly over the years, and honestly it's not very healthy for a battery just to stay full. They should either be slightly discharging or slightly charging to keep the cell pack synchronized, because the cells can get out of sync, and that can be a problem. So we install stationary batteries in people's homes or in businesses, and it's a category of stationary energy storage. And I just include stationary in there because the batteries aren't moving, and that's a contrast to mobile batteries that are in cars, or batteries that are in cell phones, batteries that are in electronics. Those are mobile. And one of the reasons why that's important is because stationary batteries can be heavy and they can be bulky, and it doesn't really matter, except for the install guys, because they do care. Those batteries are heavy. But batteries that are in electric cars, they need to be lighter, because part of the problem is that they have to carry the battery around with them. And so if it's really heavy, the range isn't as far. Or can you imagine a cell phone that weighed 20 pounds or a laptop that weighed 20 pounds? Those really need to be light, efficient batteries. Versus stationary batteries, you can bring them in on a pallet jack or maybe even a forklift and set them down in the corner of the garage. And it doesn't matter how much they weigh. It doesn't matter how much space they take up, although they do. Although you can't take up a ton of room. So stationary batteries are typically made from lithium iron phosphate, or abbreviated as LFP, because they're a little bit heavier. They're not quite as energy dense and they're a little bulkier than nickel, manganese, cobalt batteries, or NMC batteries. We see those in electric cars because they have the highest energy density, and they pack the most amount of energy in the smallest footprint. And that really makes a difference in an electric car, laptops, cell phones, all the other things we see as mobile. So long range cars, things you're talking with long range batteries, NMC is typically the choice because it'll go the farthest. LFP batteries are less expensive, and their primary ingredient is lithium and iron, which are less expensive. And one of the great parts is that they're usually mined responsibly. The cobalt really does come from some places where potentially there's some bad things going on. So trying to move away from the cobalt batteries has been a supply chain issue. But lithium and iron, while lithium does come from specialized places, it's not associated with these negative connotations with like human slavery or treating people poorly, the ones that are mining it. So lithium iron phosphate is a great product for stationary energy, and that's what we install in houses. These batteries are a little heavier and a little bulkier, but they're actually safer and cheaper, so they work well. These batteries have warranties that are usually stated in years and cycles. So lithium iron phosphate batteries, a typical warranty is 10 years or 6,000 cycles. And it's not dead at the end of the 10 years. It's not garbage at the end of the 6,000 cycles. These warranties just state that they'll have a minimum capacity at the end of those. So we don't throw away our cars at the end of their warranty period. We don't throw away our TVs or other purchases at the end of the warranty period. They're still good. The warranty period just guarantees that the battery will have a state of charge of approximately 70% or greater. So that battery is still very useful at the end of those 10 years or 6,000 cycles. But let's look at this a little closer, because I'm saying batteries could last a lifetime. And for most of us, we're expecting to live more than 10 years. But 6,000 cycles, back to what I was saying before, is that stationary batteries, especially in homes, don't get cycled that often unless you're trying to offset specific charges like demand charges, or you're trying to use them for time of use rates, like in California, where that battery most likely is cycling every day. But we have several customers in Montana where that battery, it may not cycle once a month or maybe even once every 6 months. Although I do tell them it is healthier to have that battery cycling, but it doesn't mean that it's dropping down to the state of charge percentage, which is usually 20%, and then recharging up to 90% or 100%. That counts as one cycle. So if the battery gets used for 20 or 30 minutes during an outage, it may not drop all the way down to 20%. So I've seen many batteries, stationary lithium iron phosphate batteries, that only have 20 or 30 cycles on them, and they may be 2 years old. So that battery still has a lot of life left, way beyond the warranty itself. And so that battery could easily last a lifetime of the residence for sure. And not to be morbid, but some of our customers do joke with us a little bit that they make decisions based on their age, and they may not live forever. Nobody does. One of my best customers will tell me that he doesn't even buy green bananas. That might be a little bit morbid, but his batteries will definitely last his lifetime and beyond. So 10 years and 6,000 cycles is pretty common, but we're seeing batteries that have even stronger warranties than that. We're seeing 15-year batteries and 10,000 cycle warranties And those warranties may drop that percentage a little bit, maybe down to 60%. But again, the battery's not garbage. It's not junk at the end of the warranty period. It still works well. What happens is the batteries lose some of their potential to hold energy. And you may see this on your cell phone. When its battery starts to get bad, it'll charge up really fast. For some reason, it charged to 100% really fast. And then when you go to use it, the state of charge goes down really fast again. And that's because that 100% really isn't the old 100%. It's the new 70%. So you might only be charging up to 70% and using it. So still works, still a good battery. It just doesn't hold as much energy as it did when it was first purchased. So the warranty guarantees or warranties that it will last that long. And from what we're seeing on these studies on electric vehicles is that these batteries last way longer than expected, especially when they're treated well. And I say this, how do we treat batteries well? Well, one is temperature. Batteries like temperatures just like we do, say 40 to 80 degrees. Okay, that's a good one. How old they are, right? And how cycles, what type of cycles are we running these batteries for? A lot of really deep discharges, way down low, and then charge all the way up. That's harder on a battery. Batteries like to operate from about 20% up to 80% and then back down. So a battery that's kept in ideal temperatures in your garage, maybe heated, and it stays in this nice temperature range and it cycles between 20 and 80%, every maybe month or two, that battery is going to last a really long time, probably of an entire lifetime. That's like an off-grid situation where solar or a generator recharges those batteries even though the grid's gone. So how long it'll take them to discharge during an outage really is a variable question. It's not a good answer, but we can put in enough batteries to last days or weeks. And when it's paired with solar or a generator, it can run forever. It can last a whole lifetime. So I love to say, when customers ask me, Joel, how long will my batteries last? I say they'll last an entire lifetime. And they say, what? I don't know about that, Joel. What are you talking about? Well, here's the explanation. I'll talk to you about the warranty on one side, how long these batteries will last in perfect conditions. And then during an outage, let's talk about that. Even in an extended outage where we have forest fires or a really bad situation, then how that will work there. But we typically don't size systems for that because it costs too much. So trying to be smart with the dollars, we're going to choose a system size that matches the homeowner's request. And so smaller batteries, they'll easily last for 2 or 3 hours, which might be a typical outage. I read in Montana that a typical outage is between 60 and 90 minutes. So that's a good time frame to size for. And if that outage happens during the day, no worries. Really what we're talking about is overnight. So when we talk about how long will my batteries last, we're thinking from sundown all night until sunup. That's how we size off-grid projects. Yes, we need those batteries to last all night because tomorrow the sun will come back up, start recharging again. And no one really wants to run their generator at night. So, we'll see people run generators before they go to bed, but no one wants to have a generator kick on at 3 a.m. and run for the next 6 or 8 hours, right? That's just not cool at all. So we size those batteries from sundown to sunup. They need to be able to last all night with some load control. And I'll talk more about load control. We call it shedding. You can shed large loads or prevent large loads from starting up. Like water heater tends to be a large load. And electric car, large load. And there's other appliances that are large load. Let's not use those during an outage unless we really need it. I like to say no hot tubbing during an outage. Okay, the hot tub will just can hold its temperature for a while, but that's not a necessity during an outage. So let's focus on those things that are necessities, which are typically a well pump. Got to be able to pump water, right? Got to have electricity to run that. It's the only way we can flush the toilet and run showers and drink water. Got to have outlets going. Got to have the internet. Got to have the fridge. Okay, those are essentials. But hot tub can go. Sauna is probably out. You know, there's a couple other things that are pretty easy to get off that list. But we always include the well pump, lights, and food. So I like to say batteries will last forever. Not everybody loves my answer. Sometimes that's just me having a little bit of fun. But watch more of my videos. And please subscribe to the channel. I love it. Watch my other videos on batteries. And remember that batteries will last a lifetime if you treat them right.